It was an ordinary day in 2010. I'm in my room, it's a typical Tuesday night, was playing on the radio, and 10-year-old me was absolutely certain of three things. Number one, that orange was most definitely my favorite color, and not just any orange, but the color of a sunset. Number two, that Fearless by Taylor Swift was the best album of my entire existence. And number three, my entire existence was about to end. My brother was watching X-Files on full volume while we were home alone, and I was convinced that I was about to be murdered by him for begging him to stop, or by the progeny of aliens within the hour. Thankfully for all of us, I lived to tell the tale. Toastmaster of the day and my fellow Cavaliers, I'm Sachini Wijewardena. But who am I really? In the last 1,083 weeks, give or take, what have I amounted to? Let's start at the very beginning. It was the 4th of May 2000, a day that I have absolutely no recollection of, mostly because I was unborn. But I don't mean undead. I promise I'm not a zombie. Let me clarify. It was my brother's 4th and last birthday as an only child. A day that he reminisces fondly every single year, and on some days, every single hour. I was born a few months later on the 21st of August. In my earliest years, I was defined by virtue of having an older sibling, by having an ayah. And my parents never failed to embarrass me by bringing up the story of when one time an older gentleman had asked me, "Due, what's your name?" To which I had replied, "Uncle, my name is Nanga." Nanga is my ultimate alter ego. She is the most self-assured version of myself who I try to emulate in situations like this. I inherit from her an obsession with sour sweets that has led to many dreaded visits to the dentist's office. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, I do not have many memories from this time of my life. So let's fast forward to 2006. 2006 was the first year of school for me. I remember walking up to those big blue gates of Visakha Vidyalaya, clutching tightly onto my mother's hand. It was my mother's alma mater. Little did I know that my life would change forever. I walked into 1A, my house badge pinned proudly on the wrong side of my uniform, and my mind was blown to find out there was another Manisha in this class. Up to this point, when I was not going by Nanga, I had gone by Malisha. So I thought it was not possible for someone else to have the same name as me. My teacher thought it was not possible to go forth with this situation. Oh, what a tragedy it would be. So she declared that Malisha, whose first name was Malisha, got to keep Malisha, and I had to go by Sachini. It was a new school, a new day, a new era of my life, and I had a new name. Sachini was born. Quite ironically, I'd soon find out that Sachini was one of the most common names of my generation. Were all of these parents so enamored by Sachin Tendulkar that they decided to name their daughters after him like my parents did? What would my life have been like if I was named something like Dhruvini Sandachaya, as my mother had initially planned? I will never know. Being called Sachini gave me the ability to be sort of a chameleon and to blend into situations. In school, I was a jack of many trades, but a master of none. My mother would sometimes joke that I spent more time at school than the principal did, which is an obvious exaggeration because the principal actually lives there, so you know where I get the exaggeration gene from. Some of my favorite memories at school are those moonlit nights of drama rehearsals, where the feeling of belonging was almost tangible, and it felt not impossible to break 40-year-long losing streaks. In the last 2 years of school, I solidified my nerd status and ended up here at the Colombo Medical Faculty, wondering what I've gotten myself into. But existential dread is a topic for another time. Having grown up in the shadow of my brother and my doctor parents, I had always been referred to as Tisra's sister or Malika and Manjula's daughter. So when someone I admired or looked up to started calling me Sachini, I was so satisfied. Of course, there was an ensuing confusion about which Sachini they were referring to. In my batch at the medical faculty, there are 2 other Sachinis, and that's a double-edged sword. I'm sure you can all relate to the situation where a lecturer says, the terror that comes when a lecturer tells us to unmute and answer the question. But for me, in 2 times out of 3, I'm relieved because it turns out it's a different Sachini. So coming back to my original question, who am I? Am I the girl who wore red dye hat to school for the wrong day for the Audit celebration? Am I the unapologetic but completely tone-deaf Taylor Swift fan? Am I Nanga? Am I Sachini? Am I Malisha? Am I Wijewardena as a teacher insisted on calling me? To you, I may be Sachi or Sach. And to one person out there in the world, I'm Malaysia. That's a long story. So I reached 2 conclusions. Number 1 is that I've been rambling on for the last 5.5 minutes. And number 2, that I am one and all of these identities, and that's okay. And whenever I'm in doubt about who I am, and when I'm searching for Sachini, I look in the mirror and I say, Sachini, I know exactly who you are. You're the kind of girl that can insert a Taylor Swift lyric into any life situation. And what you're looking for has been here the whole time. If you could see that I'm the one who understands you, been here all along, so why can't you see that? Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.